So here we go. The hustlers in the Chalice bar think sucking cock for money doesn't make them queer. Money changes everything, they say. Yeah, okay, I say, whatever, I can dig it. It's a fag bar, so I'm like half invisible. No one asks for ID, no one cares I'm underage, no one cares if I get all drunk up, and no one is buying me drinks, so I panhandle for an hour, maybe two. I make enough to drink all night. The boys are pretty. They're prettier than me. That's okay, I've never been the pretty one, so they cluster like ducklings on the tiny dance floor in candy-colored satin pants and tiny t-shirts, swaying to the music, rubbing their shiny satin crotches against the old chicken hawks sprawled on the bar stools. Waiters in tight leathers and no shirts weave in and out with trays of cocktails and vials of amyl nitrate. The place stinks of dirty socks from all the amyl. In the corners, in the shadows, cruel, muscular boys with hard stomachs and harder hearts, the rough trade boys. They lean against mirrored walls wearing skin-tight jeans and cut-off denim vests. They wait, making the old men come to them. They wait until an offer is made, until money changes hands. The old men come and I hear them in the shadows. Let me suck your cock. Just watch while I jerk off. Let me watch while you jerk off. I just want to touch it. I know you're not a faggot. I can get you a place to stay, a coat, a car, some coke. How much money do you want? How much? How much? As long as there's money, as long as they still fuck girls, fuck me. They're not queer, they say. Yeah, I say, okay, whatever. I follow Terry the Moose as he heads uptown to work Times Square, dancing for grimy old men sitting in the dark worn seats on the shabby third floor of the Gaiety Burlesque Theater. Floors cum sticky from the grimy old men who jerked off in the dark in the last show. We stop downstairs at Hojo's for some of their famous tender sweet clams on a bun. Terry cuts his soft eyes down to my own yearning to be famous tender sweet clam and smiles knowingly as he orders. But he don't know, not really. I'm too much like a girl for him, and he's too much like a girl for me. Then we go upstairs so he can earn. Strutting out onto the small stage, disco funk crackles over the speakers. His glossy mahogany mane catches the light and falls softly in a feathered shag around his thin shoulders. A gold lame G-string Am I interrupting you? A gold lame G-string sparkles against his warm olive skin. He winks at me over his shoulder and waves to the three street whores resting in the back row, feet up on the seats in front of them, airing out their own tender sweet clams before heading back out to work the streets. He swings his thick moose boy cock like a cop's nightstick, keeping time to the funky beat. Terry the Moose prances across the stage like a thoroughbred, teasing and tempting the pedophiles, the perverts, the chicken hawks, the straight marrieds in denial, all of them wanting him, wanting his cock in their hands, their ass, their mouth. I stay and watch the next beautiful boy dance. Terry stays backstage. Strange men grope him, worship him, lick his ass, suck him off for money, more if he comes in their mouth. It's a blessing to be young, he tells me, stuffing himself back into his hip huggers. A blessing to be able to come again like that. We tumble down the stairs, bouncing and rushing out into the noise and stench of Times Square, our pockets stuffed with cash, ready for the night. I'd spent an hour panhandling Penn Station. Please, mister, I lost my train ticket. My parents are gonna freak. He got his the old-fashioned way. We hit the streets arm in arm, girlfriends off in search of the tough boy whores that make us forget who we are, make us feel like real girls. Times Square, Midtown, downtown, everyone's on the game. Everyone is following the money. The hustlers come for the money. The queens come for the hustlers. The whores, they just come to relax and drink in peace. Sharon's a high-class whore. I'm an escort, she says. She wears satin pumps and vintage underwear she swears belong to Greta Garbo. Garbo pussy stains, she says. And she lifts her skirts and points. See? She's a natural blonde, that's all I see. Candy, a towering glamour puss in red patent leather platforms, follows the money to the dark side of the West Side Highway with her dick tucked neatly between the cheeks of her perfect apple ass. Candy is a less than natural blonde. Cowboy follows the money. Sometimes he follows me. Sometimes he follows me all the way home to Long Island. He follows my mother around after that. No surprise, she's always been the pretty one. We have sex between his doses of the clap, so not that often. Because if he gained a pound for every time he had the clap, he'd be the fat man in the circus. I take care of the cuts and scrapes he gets from the epilepsy, and we pretend that it never happened, the cuts or the clap, because nobody's buying damaged goods. The Chalice is a rabbit hole of mirrored walls, queers, music, booze, and me. It's where I wait for whoever it is will need me to feel he's a man, whoever I'll need to make me feel like a woman. An old queen named Hollywood Al slides up next to me and bets $1 a drink I can't finish 25 drinks in 25 minutes. I never take a bet I can't win. Hours later, I wake up in a small alcove full of cleaning supplies, cramped, cold, clutching 25 worn singles covered in vomit, mine, and Kahlua. The string mop next to me reeks of disinfectant and vomit, probably mine as well. The old queens like Al don't like me fucking the hustlers, but the best they can do is get me drunk enough to get me out of the game for the night. I don't mind really. Drunk is one of the things I plan on being when I grow up. Drunk on someone else's dime is the other thing. Then I find Frankie in the darkness. I'm working days as a file clerk in a law firm. He's working nights hustling his cock and ass out of the bar. I live with my parents in the suburbs of Long Island. He lives in a basement apartment under a dyke bar with a toilet bowl in the closet. Broken plaster and cockroaches rain down from his crumbling ceiling as we make love on grimy sheets, and baby, we call it stardust. He's turned my world upside down, and suddenly I'm living in a Hallmark card full of cheap poetry and soft-focused landscapes. Wednesday morning, Frankie calls and cancels our Thursday plans. Thursday morning, the phone on my desk rings again. It's the police. Did you know a Frank Stewart, ma'am? Yeah, I did. I do. Why are the police calling me? He's overdosed on drugs, ma'am. No, that's not right, I say into the phone. 1,000 tiny feet of hysteria start tap dancing inside me. Heads turn, ears perk. Where is he? I need to know what hospital he's at. I need to be there to fix him. We fix each other when we're broken. That's the agreement. No one buys damaged goods. We fix each other. Where is he? I scream into the phone. Everyone in my office has stopped working. They're staring. I'm desperate to find a pen, to be writing down a name of a hospital, to sit by his side, to stop screaming into the phone, to make sense of what the cop voice keeps saying, and it just keeps saying he overdosed. I tear the phone out of the wall, hold the dead receiver close, and scream, "Stop saying that!" I scream again into the darkness that swallowed me whole, and then I hurl the phone across the room. We hit the wall, me and the phone, at the same time, each of us shattering into a million sharp pieces. Sometimes the pain of living is more than you can stand. Frankie swallowed a bottle of Darvon, one of Triavil, one of Quaaludes, washed it down with 2 quarts of Budweiser, called me, and lay down to sleep in Brooklyn. He immediately became known as Dead Frankie. Everyone tricked out for the funeral. Geronimo, Candy, Cowboy, Blonde Eddie, George the Greek, Hollywood Al, Sharon, Fat Phyllis, Terry the Moose, all the pretty boys, and most of the chicken hawks. It was the first time I'd seen any of them in the daylight. There's something to be said for the kindness of moonlight and mirrored balls. Everyone I met at the funeral was either living with, engaged to, or married to Dead Frankie. The women were mostly younger, the men mostly older. Standing graveside as they lowered the coffin, an aging drag queen named Sunshine, elegant in her black lace and veil, hands me a plain white envelope and offers me a ride home. She drives a big convertible with soft white leather seats and a blazing cherry red paint job. I crawl into the back seat and curl into a white leather corner. Horse-faced Linda climbs in next to me and starts to cry. Linda was neither engaged nor married to Dead Frankie, but had the dubious horror of being the woman whose bed he chose to kill himself in. She is the only one there I hate, and I am the only one she speaks to. She weeps onto my shoulder. I catch Sunshine's eye in the rearview mirror. The wind sends her nice and easy honey blonde hair flying around her head. It catches in the fine stubble on her chin. Sunshine smiles in the mirror, lipstick smears on her crooked teeth, and she watches as I open the envelope. I thumb through the nude Polaroids inside, 2 front view and 1 rear, with matching wallet-size copies. They're the only pictures I've ever had of Frankie. I lean back, crack an amyl nitrate vial under my nose, and watch the sun throb as it slides out of view. The sound of blood rushing through my veins, through my head, to my broken heart, drowns out Linda's weeping. The wind catches the tangles of my hair now and beats me into oblivion as I inhale a little more of the amyl. 30 years later, I drive up to the gravesite for a second time. It is still unmarked. Overwhelmed by lonely, we hunted until we found somewhere safe, dark, and distant. He'd been about to turn 20. I'd just turned 17.